Hello, guys. Today we bring you some random facts that I believe most of us should be aware of. 5 facts about blue eyes. 1. Only 8% of the world's population has blue eyes. 2. There is no blue pigment in blue eyes. 3. Blue eyes are more sensitive to light. 4. All blue-eyed people may have a common ancestor. 5. Blue eyes at birth doesn't mean blue eyes for life. Cherophobia. Cherophobia is a phobia where a person has an irrational aversion to being happy. Symptoms: 1. Experiencing anxiety at social events that are joyful. 2. Rejecting positive life-changing opportunities. 3. Refusal to participate in fun activities. Some of the feelings that a person with cherophobia may experience are: 1. Being happy comes at a cost of being sad later on. 2. Happiness makes you a bad person. 3. Working for happiness may seem like a waste of time. Some facts about a whale's heart. 1. A blue whale's heart weighs about 400 pounds. This makes it the heaviest heart on the planet. 2. They have the widest aorta. 3. When they are diving, their heartbeat is the slowest. 4. A blue whale's heartbeat can be detected from 2 miles away. About 30,000 rubber ducks were lost at sea in 1992 and are still being discovered today. More than 25 years ago, a cargo ship traveling from Hong Kong to the United States lost a shipping crate in the Pacific Ocean. Inside that crate were 28,000 rubber ducks that still continue to pop up on shores from Australia to Alaska. Some have made it all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, while others have been found frozen in Arctic ice. Manhattan's Pacific ant. On Broadway medians between 63rd and 76th Streets, biologists discovered a new species of ant. Eventually, they named it Manhattan. The inventor of the Frisbee was turned into a Frisbee after he died. Steady Ed Hedrick invented the Frisbee in the 1950s and went on to create the sport of disc golf in the 1970s. After he died in 2002, his final wish was to have his ashes turned into a Frisbee. His son said it was his father's dream that they play with him after death, and that he might even someday accidentally end up on someone's roof. There's a bridge exclusively for squirrels. To provide safe passage to squirrels attempting to cross the N44 motorway, Netherlands officials built a rodent-only bridge. It may have been a kind-hearted gesture, it might not have been the most economically sensible one, as it cost them around €120,000. According to the government, over a 2-year span the bridge was used by just 5 squirrels in 2 years. Marie Curie's radioactive notebooks. The mother of modern physics was known for her work with radioactive materials and the discovery of elements like polonium and radium. However, her research took a toll on her health, which led to aplastic anemia that caused her death. The exposure to radioactivity didn't just affect her, it also affected most of her belongings, including her clothes, furniture, and books. Interestingly, more than a century later, Marie Curie's notebooks have to be stored in a lead box, as they are still radioactive and will be for another 1,500 years. Netherlands is so safe that they have to import criminals to fill jails. Netherlands has enjoyed a stable drop in crime since 2004 and has become so safe that it has closed down one jail after another. 23 prisons shut their doors since 2014. To help mitigate the job losses that this was created, the country started to import prisoners from other countries, bringing 242 inmates from Norway in 2015. World's largest pyramid. The Great Pyramid of Cholula, located in Cholula, Puebla, Mexico, is the largest pyramid in the world. It has a base 4 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Also happens to be the largest monument ever constructed. Part of the reason it's not better known is that it's partially buried under a mountain. We might have already had alien contact? In 1977, a volunteer for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence received a 72-second-long signal from a distant star system, 120 light-years from Earth. It was loud and sent from a place that had yet to be visited by mankind, so the guy who received it wrote "Wow" next to the original printout of the signal. It continues to be known as the "Wow" signal. Researchers have since suggested that the noise was picked up from a passing comet. London cabbies have to memorize literally everything. If you take a taxicab in London, you can expect the driver to know exactly where they are going, as they are required to take a series of tests known as the knowledge. These require them to study 320 routes and 25,000 streets, not to mention 20,000 landmarks in places of public interest that are estimated to take as long as 4 years to fully complete. There was a secret Baseball Hall of Fame inductee. In 1988, a bar owner visiting the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, made a surreptitious addition to the honorees, slipping a photo of his dad wearing a baseball uniform into one of the glass cases. It remained there for 6 years before anyone detected that it did not belong there. Dolphins have actual names. Early in life, a dolphin creates a unique vocal whistle that allows it to be identified by other dolphins in its pod. A team of researchers at the University of St Andrews in Scotland found that the animals responded when their specific call was played back to them. Superman helped take down the KKK. In the 1940s, the Popular Adventures of Superman radio program ran a 16-episode series, incorporating the findings of activist Stetson Kennedy, who had infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan but couldn't get local authorities to use the information to crack down on them. The creators of the Superman show used Kennedy's spy secrets to help tell the story of the Clan of the Fiery Cross, exposing the organization to the public and earning it widespread mockery and condemnation. The wild dog is the most successful predator in the animal kingdom. The apex predator with the highest kill rate is not the lion, the cheetah, or the wolf, it's the African wild dog. According to researchers, these lean, big-eared canines are noted for having a kill rate of 85%, while peregrine falcons get 47% of their targets and lions get just 17 to 19%. Another animal with surprisingly high kill rates? Domestic cats, which kill more than 30% of their targets. Medicine bottle foil seals exists because of poison. Those annoying foil seals on the top of medicine bottles were put in place after a rash of poisonings occurred in 1982, in which 7 people in the Chicago area were killed after ingesting Tylenol laced with potassium cyanide. Tons of countries celebrate their independence from the UK. The British Empire grew ridiculously large before scaling back down. Some 62 countries eventually declared their independence from the empire, 48 of which celebrate an Independence Day from the United Kingdom. Sears used to sell houses. Before every city had a Walmart, most Americans got their stuff from mail-order catalogs, such as Sears. Among its many offerings were so-called kit houses, or entire homes, that were shipped on a train. You had to assemble the house yourself using the 75-page instruction book. It was like IKEA on steroids. There's an encrypted monument outside the CIA. A sculpture outside CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, fittingly includes uncracked codes. Created by artist Jim Sanborn, the crypto sculpture features 4 inscriptions, 3 of which have been cracked, but the 4th is still a mystery. Manhattan tap water isn't kosher. Tiny crustaceans have been detected in the tap water of New York City, and while these creatures pose no health threat, they technically disqualify the water from being considered kosher. It's illegal to own only 1 guinea pig in Switzerland. In this alpine country, it's the more the merrier when it comes to guinea pigs. Because the squeaking rodents are herd animals, they can get severely depressed when all alone. In an effort to enhance social rights for animals, Switzerland officially considers owning a single guinea pig an act of animal cruelty. For those who were already single guinea pig owners before the law was passed in 2008, rent-a-guinea-pig businesses can provide your beloved furball with a pal. In 2016, a Florida man was charged with assault after throwing a live alligator through a drive-through window. In perhaps the most Floridian attack ever, the deadly weapon of choice was an alligator. As 24-year-old Joshua James was being handed his drink at a Wendy's drive-through, he tossed a live 3.5-foot alligator at the attendant for absolutely no reason at all. As a result, he was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, possession of an alligator, and petty theft. He was also banned from all Wendy's fast food restaurants. Great Britain once had a cones hotline for people to report rogue traffic cones. Under the guise of an initiative called the Citizens Charter, Britain set up a hotline aimed at improving public services, one traffic cone at a time. The Cones Hotline was launched in 1992 for citizens to report traffic cones on the road. No apparent reason. The policy was mocked both for being comically pointless and for being a waste of government money before it was disbanded in 1995. Its failure has inspired the term cone syndrome, which is used to describe policies that serve no real purpose. The largest living organism is an aspen grove in Utah called Pando. Blue whales may be the largest animals on the planet, but they aren't the largest living organism. The Pando aspen grove is made up of 47,000 identical quaking aspen trees that cover 106 acres of Fish Lake National Forest in Utah. The aspen grove is connected by a single shared root system and has been around for thousands of years. Unfortunately, Pando has been shrinking for decades due largely to human intervention and animal grazing. Only time will tell if conservation efforts will make a difference. Flipping a shark upside down renders it immobile for up to 15 minutes. If only the people of Amity, Long Island, had known this, the movie Jaws would have ended differently. It turns out that a shark's Achilles heel is turning it upside down. Some species of sharks enter a state of tonic immobility due to the loosening of muscles in the respiratory system. The shot puts them into a trance that can make them look like they're dead. About 15 minutes later, they'll become responsive again and return to normal. Some killer whales even exploit this trait by forcibly flipping sharks so they can access prey more easily. If you die alone in the Netherlands, someone will write you a poem and recite it at your funeral. For those lonely folk who pass away with no next of kin and no one to claim them at death, there will be at least one person at their funeral, which is a poet. In response to these so-called lonely funerals, the country implemented the ritual of lonely funeral poems, in which poets research the deceased, write a poem in their honor, and recite it at the funeral. What started as a small project in Amsterdam has now grown into a countrywide competition. The first rollercoaster was invented at Coney Island as a way to distract people from sinful activities. Another inventor, LaMarcus Thompson, was disgusted by the debauchery of New York's inhabitants. The saloons and brothels that were so popular in the late 1800s were a disgrace to Thompson, who wanted to provide a family-friendly, sin-free way to have fun. Thus, the rollercoaster was born. He was inspired by the railroad tracks of the West, specifically one called the Mauch Chunk Switchback Railway, which featured a high-speed, 665-foot drop. The German word Kummerspeck means weight gained from emotional eating. One of many words that are untranslatable in English is Kummerspeck, which literally translates to grief bacon or sorrow fat. Bacon might not be your binge food of choice, but the idea remains the same. Whether you chow down on cured meats or ice cream during times of emotional crisis, Kummerspeck adds insult to injury. It's also proof that the idea of food as comfort is cross-culturally understood. Brunch was originally invented to cure hangovers. The favorite meal of millennials was invented in 1895 by an English writer named Frank Beringer, who published an article called Brunch a Plea in Hunter's Weekly newspaper. In his article, he described an alternative to the traditional Sunday dinner that he dubbed brunch. He argued that waking up early was no fun for those who had had wild Saturday nights, and that brunch was the perfect place for folks to gather around noon, recount the tales of their wild nights, and enjoy each other's company.